I'm happy with where I am, because that's a great place to be. But then ask yourself the honest question of, great, I'm happy with where I am, but what would it be like if I went to another level? What would that be? What do I want that to be? What would that look like?
Welcome back to the Freedom and Scrubs podcast. We are your hosts, Kim and Erran G. This is episode 43, all about kind of a conversation that Kim and I had about complacency, setting goals, and the phrase that you're hearing all the time about being okay with yourself. And we're going to dive deep into that.
Before we get into the show, make sure to head over to our YouTube channel, Kim and Erran G. Check it out. We have tons of great travel videos, and we have a lot more of those to come as soon as we get the green light, can actually start traveling any day now. But in the meantime, we have some fun travel videos on there and also some trainings that are specific for healthcare travelers. So head over, Kim and Erran G YouTube. Make sure to subscribe, follow along, and we will see you on the tube.
Welcome to this week's show. We're so happy you're here. If you are new to this show, then welcome. Our podcast is all about healthcare traveling and the life that brings. We are healthcare travelers. We've been doing that since 2012. It has opened up a life that we never thought possible. And so we want to bring you all the foundational building blocks and tools that can help you throughout your travel life, but also in the lifestyle of a traveler. And we bring fun stories and lessons and just kind of bring you into our lives so that you're sitting in the living room with us, hanging out, maybe having a cocktail and learning something or being inspired or laughing.
Oh my God, I love that. That was so good, babe.
Yeah.
Gosh, that was good. Y'all don't know how much we struggle to say these scripted parts where we have to introduce ourselves and all, because we want people to know who we are, right? It's like we just assume people know. And so we have like these parts that we want to say specific things, and we go back and forth, and I feel like you just nailed it. It was really natural.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, air high five.
Pow.
All right, let's get into the show.
Do it.
Okay, so setting the tone. It's Friday night. It's 6:30. We have, originally we were going to get Pokey delivered from one of our favorite places.
Mimonas.
And Erran went on DoorDash to get it, and it was closed, which I was so upset because I'd been thinking about it all day.
Me too.
So we went to the second choice. So we have sushi coming, and Erran has like hibachi.
Which we've never gone to this place, but I've heard a lot of good things about it.
Ugh.
So, sounds good.
Second choice.
Yeah.
So we're sitting here. Oh, are they here? They're texting. Okay. So we're going to have a little bit of a sushi dinner, a little bit of tequila, which we had tequila last Friday. It's becoming a vibe.
It has. It's a quarantine tequila vibe.
But we haven't had the tequila yet. So we're still on decent behavior.
Which is good. I don't know how I feel about doing episodes with tequila because
things can get away.
Yeah, and I lose my train of thought. I just want to get up and dance around a sombrero.
I have like no clue what we talked about.
I know. I don't either. And it's not that we were like, that was our first cocktail.
I know.
But it's just like the act of it. I don't know. There's just something that I can't stay focused.
Well, because it's a vibe. Like when you're having tequila, like you said, I want to listen to music. Watch
a comedy show.
Right. So tonight the vibe is we're doing our podcast now because we got inspired with a conversation when Erran came home from work. We sit down, we chat, we got into a discussion. We thought, let's go do this on the podcast. Right. Mm-hmm. We're going to take you into our actual real conversation.
Yeah.
And so we're like, let's go do the podcast while we wait for the food because we're efficient.
That's right.
And then we're going to eat, have some tequila, and watch the new, what's his name? Chris
D'Elia.
He's hilarious, you guys.
He's probably my favorite comedian out there. He's not too raunchy. And he's just really funny. He talks about real life stuff.
Yeah.
And he laughs when his laugh is so contagious.
Yeah.
But he has a new special out that one of the guys I work
Netflix,
with showed
right?
me. So I'm super excited to watch it.
I am too. I know we weren't sure what we were going to do, and Erran texted me that he has a new one. I was like, awesome. Like tequila, Netflix.
Yeah.
Done.
Chill.
So that's our vibe tonight. That's what we're doing.
Yep.
So what sparked this conversation was I was listening to a podcast per usual.
I
And
listened to 3 today.
they're just so good. I mean, really, it's just you're learning while you're cleaning, while you're working out, while you're doing all the things. Like, it's just efficient, you know,
Sidebar,
and enjoyable.
I did watch a documentary today, the first documentary of tracing the coronaviruses, like patient zero. It was interesting.
Where'd you watch that?
I have it. Well, we can watch it some other time. It's pretty deep,
Yikes.
but it's yikaroo.
Is it on Netflix?
No, it's on YouTube.
Okay.
Anyway, it was insane.
All right.
Anyway,
well, add that to the list.
Move on.
Okay, so I'm listening to The Skinny Confidential, which is a podcast I really like. It's a husband and wife, and they interview people, and then they also just talk amongst themselves, too. And so they were having a... What?
She's a blogger extraordinaire.
I know. It's so extra.
And he is a serial entrepreneur. What a smart guy.
Oh my god, I felt like you did that really well. Is that like your side hustle, or are you like their mic person?
Yeah, they're mic person.
Okay, I feel like we need a fancy intro.
What's Lauren's last name? I can't think.
Everett's.
Lauren
Bostic.
Everett's and Michael Bostic.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's hilarious.
They're good.
I love them. They're fun. They're real. They're fun. They've been married for a while. They just had a baby, and they just talk about all kinds of really cool stuff, kind of like us.
But they're fun. They're those people that you listen to, and you're like, dude, we could hang out and like have some really good.
They're kind of bougie, but we still like them.
Well, compared to us,
yeah, because we're just gnarly. Okay, so anyways, I'm listening to their podcast, and they were talking. It was just the two of them, and they got into a conversation about complacency. And the reason why we wanted to talk about it, and the reason why I brought it up, was because Erran came home and we both listened to it. And so we were talking about the takeaways that we each had, which is something we like to do. And we both agreed that while there were things that we were listening to that we took away and we were like, oh, wow, yeah, like I totally agree with that. But there was also things that we were like, I would have explained it a little differently. Mm-hmm. And so they were how the conversation started is they were talking about how there's so many, like just books, lessons, wisdom, quotes.
There's a lot of thought leaders out there that are really preaching this. I hate the word preaching, but they're teaching, they're inspiring to say that like, I'm good where I'm at. I'm good in my own skin. I'm good with who I am. And that's all good and great, and I think it's being misconstrued is what they were trying to say.
Yeah, so they were basically saying that overall thought system is negative, right? Mm-hmm. Saying that you're happy with where you are is negative. And I do believe that in some, like I got what they were saying, right? Mm-hmm. I understood what they were saying.
You're basically saying that complacency is like a killer. Like it's like death to yourself.
Because I think you can be happy with yourself, but you're always trying to be better. You're always trying to work towards something, right? Something. You're always trying to go to your next level. And so whether that's in your business, like for us, your relationship, your parenting, just any goals that you're setting for yourself, when you're in that momentum of moving forward and working towards something that's meaningful for you, it just elevates your overall experience and it makes you feel better and productive and happy, right? So to just stay put and stay still in one place,
right,
isn't productive.
No, it's not. And I think, he kept saying a bunch of key words that trigger me. He kept saying you are never enough. And that's okay that you're never enough. Mm-hmm. And the word I'm enough, I wear that around my neck like every single day because I think again, and that's maybe why I was triggered a little bit because I'm like, I am that person that wakes up every single day and my goal for myself that I've worked myself towards is I want to be better when I go to bed than it was when I wake up. Like that's period, end of story. What can I do that moves me forward towards my goals, towards me being a better person, a better husband, a better coworker, a better business owner, a better entrepreneur, a better creative, like whatever it is that I'm doing, what can I do today that moves me forward? That's my goal. And if I conquer that in a day, it's not about what I've done or how many things I've done. It's the quality of the things that I've done that actually make me feel good when I go to bed at night. And that's basically what I'm doing. But to say that like you're never enough was a trigger for me, because I'm like, I've also been on the flip side of that, where no matter what I did, I was beating the shit out of myself that I wasn't enough and I'll never be anything because I don't have what everybody else has, because I'm just doing mediocre bullshit and it's not moving me along because of my own feelings of not feeling enough.
Yeah.
And so I get what they're saying, but I think that's where it's a little like, wanting to be worded a little gently.
I think the point is that you can be happy with yourself, with your life, with how you're showing up, and still be moving forward, still be going to your next level, still be working on bettering yourself in all areas of your life, like taking inventory of your life. How can you make it better in every single category, working towards it, setting goals, sticking to the goals, right? Staying in that upward trajectory of just like, I'm happy in the process. I'm enjoying my life. I'm joyful. I'm happy, but I'm excited to go to my next level because it feels good to grow. It feels good to open up. It feels good to expand into the next version of who I am. So if I'm staying complacent and still and just like, this is me, this is what I do, to me, that like when I'm staying still, when I'm not working towards something, I always feel more blah, more sad, more depressed, just icky. Like I like to be moving towards something positive for myself.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I think Lauren hit it big at the end when she said about uncomfortability as a muscle. And I think like it made me check in. It was right when I was pulling in here. I was like listening to it or getting close or whatever. And I actually had the thought of like, man, when have I felt really, really uncomfortable lately? And I feel like as healthcare travelers, we're uncomfortable a lot because we're going into new situations every 3 to 6 months. We're doing new things. We're dealing with new people. We're going to new towns. And that muscle has grown so big for me that now I'm like, I need to actually start thinking about what I can do on a daily basis to make me feel a little bit more uncomfortable. And it was something that really triggered with me because that's all part of it as well. Because, you were saying that you always grow and you always want to do something that pushes you because you feel a certain way, but I also feel like you have that mindset, right? So going back to that, saying that complacency is fine with the fact of loving yourself or being okay with who you are, but that word complacency of just like, I have no will to improve is a problem, which I completely agree with them.
Yeah. I think, honestly...
Good, I was just going to say, and it's also one of those things that I feel like it's people's fear wall of, I don't want to climb over that to feel uncomfortable, so I'll just say, I'm extremely happy with myself. And I don't need anybody else to tell me that I need to do this, this, and this, or that I should be improving because I love myself. And you can't argue with that. It's basically that wall of like, you can't go past it because who am I to tell you that you should be doing something and you're not happy? Like, that's not my right to tell you that, nor do I even know that. But it is people's, I feel like it's their wall to put up that says, I don't want to feel uncomfortable and I don't want to grow and I like my comfort zone. So I just love myself. Yeah.
And sure, you can love yourself, but I think we should all of us should be like taking inventory of our lives and seeing how we can up level like all of the categories in our life, because that's what makes life fun. That's what makes life worth living is the growth, is the changes, is the next level. It's like asking yourself, like I ask myself all the time, how can I be a better wife, right? Like what can I do to be better, to show up better? How can I improve with creativity? Right? How can we improve with, building this business? Like all these, how can I improve my health right now? I'm in a place where this is something that's come up for me a lot is I haven't been completely, sorry, I know. Okay. You can cut that out. I've been really, see, there you go. I'm trying to work on my mouthiness because I can be very mouthy. I've ditched the gum, but we're still having a bit of a mouthy issue.
Because it is your or You don't say that a lot. You
I'm just
take
mouthy.
a pause and you
Yeah, I'm trying to work on it actively. But I've been uncomfortable in my body because I've gained weight, about 10 pounds, and I just have been struggling to get it off. And I was like, I feel comfortable in my body. I'm healthy. I'm strong. I love my body, all the things, right? And I do, but I also know that I'm much more comfortable and I feel better in my own skin when I've lost these 10 pounds because I don't normally carry this around. And so I've decided to use this time to really step up my game there. I'm not perfect. There's definitely not even a little bit. That's why I've been struggling to get it off. Yeah, let's be real. But I've really been conscious of working out every single day or at least, 5 days a week and really trying to limit carbs at night and just the things that I know to do to help me get to that goal. Right. And so instead of continuing to say I'm healthy and happy and I love my body, which I do, and there is truth to that, but the underlying truth is that really, no, I do feel better when I'm taking better care of myself all around. No, does that make sense?
I think that's a great
Or is that
example.
Just like a tangent?
No, and I think a lot of it can go back to weight loss and things like that because it was something that I struggled with early on that no matter... Even when Kim looked at me and was like, wow, you're in the best shape of your life. You look really good. I still found things to pick myself apart. And so I did a lot of work on that level of just there is that level of loving who I am, but knowing what I'm capable of.
Yeah.
And really knowing that I'm going to push to be the best version of myself because I know when my clothes are fitting bad and I know how that makes me feel and I can't output the way that I want to output if I'm feeling that way.
I think we're beating a dead horse. I think what you said just completely summed it up. That you can love yourself, but still, what did you say? But still know what you're capable of.
Yeah. Thank you, because I was in a flow.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be two separate things. Mm-mm. It's you are happy with where you are and you enjoy the journey of going to your next level. And that's the beauty of life is the push, the challenge, the growth, the goals. That's what makes it fun. That's what makes it fun, right. Working towards something better.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it's funny because I think, 2 weeks ago, you and I went on a hike here in Chico and we were having a conversation because, again, as you guys know, Kim and I talk about it all the time, that we are currently building a business. We are building a online business that we basically are going to we want to be location independent and be able to do work that we love every single day, consisting of YouTube, podcasts, our Facebook group, Traveler School, all the things that we have, and who knows what else down the road. But it got me thinking that, am I not happy with where I am at now? That if I didn't make it to those things, would I consider my life a failure or a success? And I think it's about really figuring out that even though I do love who I am, and I'm enjoying and I'm blessed to be who I am now, that doesn't mean that I'm happy with who I am because I want to grow, but I also want to enjoy the journey, but yet not feel do you know what I'm saying?
You're always, you want to enjoy the journey of where you're going because if you're unhappy until you get to that place, you never are going to get to that place. That place doesn't exist. Right? Because once you get to that place, then there's going to be another goal. There's going to be something else. So it's knowing that you're enjoying the journey. You're grateful for where you are. You're grateful for the life that you live. But you are excited to get to the next step of it.
It's an easy analogy to say I feel like a sailboat out on the water. When I'm pushing towards goals and I'm seeing growth, I feel like there's so many wind in my sails. But if I was thinking to myself that I was just going to be an IR tech my whole life, literally I feel like all the wind stops and it comes out of my body and I don't feel lit up and I feel depressed and sad. But that doesn't mean that I'm not blessed. And I have a tough time with that personally.
And that's, again, it's interesting because that's why we're not staying still. That's why we are trying to build a business. That's why we are trying to do work that we love and that's creative and that's fun for us. And we're trying different things because we understand that while we're blessed to have these jobs, it's not our passion, it's not our calling, it's not what we want to do for the rest of our lives. And so we're not complacent there because, oh, we're in our 30s and, oh, these are great careers and, oh, we should be settling down and, oh, we should be doing X, Y, and Z. It's like, no, we're honoring where we are in the journey we're on, but we're also really determined to take steps towards what it is we want to do and what our next step looks like. And even when we first started traveling, you know, it's like the lives we lived in Florida were, you know, working full time when we had our house and we had community and we had friends and family, and like, it wasn't bad, but there was that knowing within us that even though life is good, there's more, there's another level to us here, because this feels like complacent. Death. Yeah, this doesn't feel good. If I looked into my life and I was like, this is what I'm doing for the next 30 years, I would literally end it. Like, that is not how I want to live. And so what do? You feel that feeling. And I think we can all connect to that and feel that, whatever category we're talking about, when something isn't necessarily settling well, and you know you can go to another level with it, you know you can improve it, you know that you can take the steps to take yourself to that next place that you want to be, right? That next place that you want to be. And I think that's a really cool experience that we get to have in life.
Yeah. No, and it's opened up so much more, because again, they said in the podcast about you are the average of the 5 people you consume the most. And I think with this quarantine, people are probably consuming a lot of things that maybe they shouldn't, and makes them feel even worse about themselves, right? I mean,
well, it's interesting because it's like old school is like the 5 people you hang around, right? And now obviously we can't hang out with anybody, but we're also in a digital age where we spend most of our time consuming other people's content on Instagram, on blogs, on YouTube, on Facebook, just on all the social medias.
I mean, you say it every night. I'm watching my friends.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends.
And I even said it
so
today
popular.
About our 5 people that we've progressed to. That are mentors or something like that, but we don't technically know them, but we're like,
we
our
feel
friends.
Like we're tight. Yeah. So it's an interesting thing, but I think that's an important takeaway, is like really evaluating what you're consuming, right? Because what are you filling your mind with, your thoughts with, your days with? Are you consuming hours and hours and hours scrolling on Instagram or Facebook at what other people are doing, and that makes you feel like shit? Then don't consume that, right? Pick your people. Pick the people that inspire you, make you think, entertain you in a positive way, and focus on those 3 to 5 people and consume that, and then be done with it. And I think it's important to consume people that push you to another level as well. Like for us, it's, you know, people that are doing what we want to be doing, traveling and creating videos, creating content, and living this digital nomadic life. Like, so we follow people that are already doing that, and it inspires us and it pushes us and it challenges us, and it doesn't trigger me in a negative way. It triggers me in a positive way, because I'm like, oh my gosh, like, this is what's possible for us. Watch people that shows you what's possible for you too.
That's really, I'm so glad you said that, because that is something that I used to struggle with. When I would see somebody doing what I wanted to do, I would get instantly judgmental, instantly feeling like I'm not capable of doing that. What are they doing different than me? And then picking them apart to try to make myself feel better for the fact that they're doing it and I'm not.
Yeah.
And that, I think, a lot of people have. And that was something that I learned, because now I realize, with my whole not diving into it, but you only know your highest branch. Like, now you can actually see what these people are doing and be like, oh my God, there's so much room in this world for everybody, that now they showed me it's possible. Now I get to put my own spin on it, and thank you for inspiring me to be better.
Yeah, but you gotta really work on that. And I think that's an important thing to note here, that if what you're watching or what you're consuming, whatever that is, if it's triggering you in a negative way, where you're feeling judgmental towards that person, or it's making you sad, or just feeling icky in any kind of a way, that trigger is there for a reason, right? That's, in my experience, that's what I agree. Like, that's what I experience. When I'm triggered, it is for a reason. When I'm triggered in a negative way. So it's something that we see for ourselves, or we want for ourselves, but maybe we haven't been honest about what we want for ourselves yet. Maybe I don't know. There's a lot of different things that can be triggered, but look at that. If you are triggered by watching somebody in a negative way, go under the surface and ask yourself, why are you? Because you used to always be triggered because you always wanted that for yourself, and you felt like, oh, they've already done it. They've already been there. Now I can't do it. And it was like a very negative conversation, because you weren't happy with where you were. And so you were triggered by other people doing what you essentially wanted to do, instead of just being like, wow, I want to do this too. This is exciting. They're showing me what's possible for me. And now I get to take the steps towards what it is I actually really want. And I can use them as inspiration to show me, pave the path for me.
Well, what do we always say? The definition of a miracle is a change in perception, from Gabby Bernstein. I mean, that's like...
It's so true.
The Course in Miracles and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great. So
that's the first tip, is really evaluate what you're consuming on the Instagrams, on the socials, everything. What does your day look like? Actually take a look at it. Are you binge watching TV all day? Are you binge watching Netflix? Are you watching the news all day long? Like, what are you putting into your energy every single day? And then almost kind of do a detox with it and pick 3 to 5 people that you want to give your time to, that you want to invest in watching, reading, whatever with them, because they make you feel good.
Yeah, and I think with the digital age, again, we're talking about this. You can literally go into a closet, go into a room, close the door, just write down 5 things that light you up. Start there. Say, like, what is something that light me up? If it was me, I would say traveling, inspiration, stories of people building businesses, and the whole travel thing, right? So those are like the things that I would...
traveling twice.
Well, yeah, like I guess intermingling. But I would write those down, and what's cool is you go to Google, you go to YouTube, and you type in those things, and you see what pops up. You go to the podcast, you type in those categories and see what pops up and try different things. But that's why I love YouTube so much, is because I don't ever scroll Instagram anymore. I don't even scroll Facebook. I go straight to our group, and I read what's in our group, because I like seeing what our members are talking about and the different things going on. But if you're just scrolling through a feed, you don't know what's coming up next.
Yeah.
And so with YouTube, you can really dive into the people and really use them, and it's like their content, so you can get behind it and watch and feel inspired. And that's why I love YouTube so much.
I don't scroll at all. I'm not a scroller. No. I never really have been. I do enjoy Instagram stories. Like, that's my time. Like, I love going to the bathroom. That's my time.
I hear it all
That's
the
my
time.
thing.
I'm like, who's Kim talking to?
I enjoy it, but I only watch a few people. I literally only watch a few people, and I look forward to their stories every day. And they're my people that I look to because they inspire me and make me feel good in some way.
Well, that's what I was going to say, is your Instagram, our Instagram, because it's Kim and Erran G, but is the stories are literally like thought out. Like, we don't just follow anybody and everybody. It's literally people that, like you said, inspire us.
Okay, let's move on. So, look at what you're consuming. That's the first step. And then the setting goals for yourself. And so really taking inventory of your life in all areas of your life, and asking yourself, how can you up level? Like, being honest with yourself. What do you actually want? Like, if you could just have an honest conversation without being nervous about the work that would be put into that, but just saying, what do I actually want? Where can I up level? Where can I do better? And setting some goals for yourself, and then following through with those goals.
Holding yourself accountable.
And that's the big thing. There's Ed Milet. He has a podcast.
He's fantastic.
Yeah, he's really great. He's really motivational, and he says something that I think is it's just so true. But he says confidence comes from keeping the promises you've made to yourself. And so it's not about, promises you make to other people. While that's important to keep all promises, but like, keep showing up for yourself. When you make a promise to yourself, when you say you're going to do something, when you say you're going to do your workout, when you say you're going to cook dinner at home, when you say you're going to look into starting to travel, when you say you're going to do a solo trip, whatever it is that you say to yourself because you want to up level, follow through on it. Actually take action on that, because the more you do it, the more of a muscle you build and the more confident you become and the more solid your relationship becomes with yourself.
I agree. And that's just, I had talked about my necklace saying I am enough on one side. Well, on the back side, it says discipline matters. Now, granted, this was a beautiful gift that Kim got me because I lost my other necklace in New Zealand. But now we added the discipline matters to the back because it really does. And that's something that, again, I struggle with. I can be, vulnerable on here and say, like, I struggle with keeping the promises to myself, whereas I still do feel like I am very, again, like, I don't struggle from this of, like, setting goals and achieving them, but I do tend to fall on some of the promises I take to myself. I don't know.
You're not very consistent.
But I also don't know if that's me being too ambitious with myself and I'm still trying to work through that of like, I know that I'm going to be better every single day. That's just my mentality. And it's funny because, my dad was really hard on me, but those were things that he instilled early on in my life. He says, when you stay stagnant, you die. And he used to always say that to me. And there's always going to be somebody better out there. There's always going to be somebody bigger, faster, more smarter. Always.
More smarter?
I know, but that wasn't the most smartest thing to say. But basically, you get my point. And so it instilled that in me that, like, no matter, I just need to keep working towards. I need to keep getting better because I can only be as good as me.
Right. Exactly. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like this topic.
I think it's interesting because it's just something that I feel like we kind of went on a bunch of different tangents. I hope that you can take something away from this that's beneficial for you and adds value to you in some way. And I think it's just, again, honestly, like these are just conversations that Erran and I have behind closed doors all the time. We're always having these conversations. And that was one of the reasons the podcast, we wanted to do that, is because we wanted to take people into these conversations, these kind of candid conversations, and hopefully give people something to think about.
Well, right. And that's what Lauren and Michael said too, is they had these conversations as well, which really registered with Kim and I because this is what we talk about.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to be able to take our spin on this because it is something that we talk about on a regular as well. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a great topic, especially for now with the quarantine as well.
Yeah. This is the perfect time to evaluate your life and ask yourself where you can up level and grow and be better. And again, going back to just the original thing, it was, I'm happy with where I am because that's a great place to be. But then ask yourself the honest question of, great, I'm happy with where I am, but what would it be like if I went to another level? What would that be? What do I want that to be? What would that look like? How would that feel? And then start taking small actions and make up an action plan, small goals that you can chip away at and hold and keep up with it, right? Every day, you make a little goal, you do it, you feel good, and you keep that process going. Just asking yourself those questions, I think, is pretty powerful.
I love that. That was great.
Thanks.
That was great.
All
I'm
right.
going to take that into consideration and do it myself.
You should.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Well, which I do anyway, but yeah. No, I think that wraps it up, right? Our food has been sitting out.
I'm so hungry right now.
Yeah, we did get, like we said, we got sushi, and then I looked at my phone, and the guy had texted me that he left it on the doorstep. And so
30 minutes ago.
I'm like, sushi is not the thing you want leaving on the doorstep.
Ugh, yeah. All right. Let's go eat. We
eat.
hope that this was helpful for you in some way. If it was, if you like these kinds of episodes, let us know. You can DM us at Kim and Erran G or leave feedback in the, the reviews for the podcast.
Yeah.
And just let us know, do you like these? Are you feeling them? These kind of more candid conversations that we're having, or do you not? Just let us know, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.